Roxanne, would you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Davis?
Here.
Mr. Dombrowski?
Here.
Mrs. Ingalls?
Here.
Mrs. McGrattan?
Here.
Mr. Sebelia?
Here.
Mr. Soms?
Here.
Mr. Washington?
Here.
7 here, 2 absent.
Okay, I'll turn this over to you, Bill.
Oh yeah, I was thinking we were going to have all the preliminaries. Okay, so we're not moving on item number 1, so I'm going to go to item 2. I move to adopt the Municipal Certification of Resolution for a Small Town Economic Assistance Program, STEAP 2020, Ledyard Community Green Improvement Project, project name to be determined, located at 728 Colonel Ledyard Highway, Ledyard, Connecticut. And that the Parks and Rec Commission shall review and approve the conceptual plan to be submitted as part of the application. And if funding is approved, town council approval will be requested for funding the town match when that amount is known before any contract is signed and the project is commenced.
Councilor Ingalls seconds. Discussion, Bill.
Thank you, Chairman Davis. So this is another STEAP grant, which we've used successfully in the past. And as the mayor pointed out during our finance meeting, in the past has been $500,000, which we've used several grants of that order to improve the appearance of Ledyard Center for economic development purposes. We've been very successful with these grants. This one has some anomalies to it. It looked like it wasn't going to happen. When it finally did happen, it became available on July 14th with only a month instead of 3 months for towns to respond. I think I just said it's $128,000. It's not $500,000. But Parks and Rec and Planning have already been working to put together a plan with an architect for what they want to do with the money. It includes improvements to the green, for which we have a tremendous opportunity this year because things are changing quickly with the uses and the looks of the green. But we're talking about a parklet, a walking path. I'm going by memory from some of the things the mayor said, so I'm going to ask him to join in here. But there is a plan. We're hopeful that even though there are many towns that can apply, we're hoping that with the short window, we might be successful in getting this one. We have lost grants in the past too, and the mayor can say more about that and the amount of benefit that the town of Ledyard has received versus some of the other towns from STEAP grants. But they're good, they work, and we've been very successful in improving the center of Ledyard with them. Councilor Ingalls also had some very good comments at the finance meeting. She pointed out that because Ledyard has been studying its center and developing plans and conceptualizing for 50 years, we actually have a plan. So when one of these comes along, we're ready, and that's part of why we've been successful in the past. And with that, I'll turn it over to the mayor for any other comments, or Councilor Ingalls.
Okay, so I'll just add in, so we also, part of that grant package included improvements to the pole barn, which is where the farmers market occurs. It also includes some improvements to the Holdridge Pavilion, and it also cleans up, we couldn't afford in this limited scope STEAP grant, but it includes a refreshing of the playscape area, which is located just to the north end of the Holdridge Pavilion. So pretty limited scope, but we felt pretty good about it. And just touching on the 2 quick things, the notice came out on July 13th that they were going to put the STEAP grants back in place. It came out on July 14th. On July 15th, they made a change to the language. It deleted one sentence and it replaced it with the following, which reads, there is not a set percentage or dollar amount for the municipal match requirement. So under normal circumstances, we would never come and say, well, we don't know. It could be 50%, it could be 5%. We don't really know. And the only thing that I could come up with on that is because it's such a tight window of time, maybe the state is thinking, well, if there's only 107 eligible towns, if not many put in, maybe we'll get 90% funding. I don't really know. But if for some reason it comes in higher, like we could say if it exceeds 25% match, we just decline it when we receive it. So if that's something that you want to do, we could certainly do that. Last thing just to touch on, we received $650,000 of STEAP funding in the forms of $150 for the first one, which was the design work, and then the $500,000. On a per capita basis, Ledyard is the lowest of all the towns in the area, having received $44.21 per capita in STEAP funding. The next lowest town in our area is Lisbon at $102.30 a square foot. Per capita. The disparity is pretty huge, and then some of the towns go up to $598.28 per capita. So it's kind of all over the place. But one thing is clear is that it hasn't been equitable to us in the past. So we're hopeful that this might be our year.
Very good. I don't know if this is the best place to say this, but Roxanne, I just sent you a copy of the agenda on the meeting portal. And that's the password that I used and could not get in. Could you double check that? Because that sort of concerns me. I hope it's my mistake.
I'm gonna go look at it now.
Okay, because my concern, of course, is if people go to the portal. See, what I do is I go to the portal and print it out and use the password from there. And I'm just concerned that the public would have done that. Do you guys do it from your email? I do it from the portal.
I click on the link. I click on the link that's on the agenda in the portal. I don't type any passwords or access tokens.
I just click join.
Yeah.
Saying where it's the green highlight, this is join meeting.
Yeah.
I click on that, and I've never been asked to put in a password.
Any of those. Okay, so I was asked for a password. I'm doing it on my iPad, and I know I did read somewhere that sometimes use the iPad, unless anybody else is using an iPad, that it does do things a little bit differently. My concern is just that somebody tries to get in the meeting and can't. But anyway, I'm sorry. Let's just move forward and we can investigate this.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at, the number I gave you was a number that I pulled off of, the first number's correct. The second number is a number I pulled directly off of this, where I'm sitting right now. So if you go up to the top of your screen to the top left, there's like a little white dot if you move your thing around. And if you scroll all the way down, you'll see there's the numbers. So it's the 132 meeting number.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
And I think
That was correct, but the password was not.
yeah. I don't know why that is. Although we had trouble with finance earlier today, so I don't know if there was a problem with the storm or whatever. It's just not right today.
Okay. And I had the same problem at the last meeting, so you're going to have to.
Okay.
Maybe it's just because I'm using an iPad. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. This was my place to do it. I just wanted to, before we voted, to hope that people that wanted to get in can get in. So, with that, the end of discussion, Bill?
Yes.
Okay.
So Scott Johnson is also on for Parks and Rec, as is Nate Woody. If there's any other questions.
Any questions? Comments? Roxanne, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Sebelia?
Yes.
Mr. Soms?
Yes.
Mr. Washington?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Dombrowski?
Yes.
Mrs. Ingles,
Yes.
Mrs. McGrattan.
Yes.
7 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries. Next item, Bill.
I move to authorize the mayor to sign a water sewer customer service and billing services contract between Groton Utilities and the town of Ledyard for the town of Ledyard WPCA, effective August 1, 2020 through June 30, 2022.
Counselor Ingalls seconds.
Discussion.
Thank you. So many of you know that the WPCA is trying to coordinate their billing services contract with their water operations contract so that they end at the same time. And that way they could conceivably open up both contracts to more bidders. And we might have conceivably more choices available to us. At any rate, it is cumbersome to be managing two contracts for services that terminate at different times of the year. We received 3 bids, or the WPCA received 3 bids. One was significantly deficient. It was a lot less money, but it was missing a very big part of the services that are required by the bid. The other one came closer. There was about a $15,000 difference between the second lowest bidder and the lowest bidder. The highest bidder. But again, that bidder failed to meet the requirements, the minimum requirements of the RFP. The winning bidder, as voted on by the WPCA, was Groton Utilities, and they did discuss the fact that there was a bid that was close and $15,000 less than Groton Utilities, but again, didn't meet all the requirements of the RFP, and did not come significantly close enough to justify making a switch. The WPCA voted on this because they have the authority to choose the provider, but the mayor he is the signing authority for the town of Ledyard, and the mayor is authorized by the town council to sign all contracts. So that's why we're having this vote tonight to authorize the mayor to sign this contract.
Are there any questions? Roxanne, would you call the...
I'm sorry, I forgot to page one more piece of information. This is approximately a 3% increase over the present services. So we felt, the WPCA, I'm the liaison, so I keep saying we. The WPCA felt that this was also reasonable in that it was only approximately 3% increase.
Okay, any questions, comments? Roxanne, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Soms,
Yes.
Mr. Washington,
Yes.
Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Dombrowski,
Yes.
Mrs. Ingles,
Yes.
Mrs. McGrattan,
Yes.
Mr. Sebelia.
Yes.
7 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries. Next item, Bill.
Councilor Soms moves to grant a bid waiver to Beta Group, Inc. for Pavement Management Program updates in an amount of $19,500.
Counselor Ingalls seconds.
So as many of you recall, the town uses a software program which was based on analysis of all of the roads in Ledyard, the entire length of all the roads, which tracks and captures the road surface condition of all of our roads. The software is used to predict how those road surfaces will decline with each passing year. But software is only as good as it can be, and periodically you have to sync up the software with actual road conditions. So this is a combination of a forecasting product as well as a data collection service. So this will be the third time that we go out and recapture the data on the roads. The good news is this company is now starting to use some more automated equipment, which rides on the vehicles to analyze the road surface, and the rest of it is done with human eye inspection and experience of the people doing the surveys. So again, they go out, they collect the data from the road surfaces, and then they use that data to sync up with what the software predicted those road conditions would be. So basically, we're adjusting the software to make it more accurate. This is something we do every few years, not every year, and that in itself saves us money as well. Overall, we found the program very successful. Public Works and the Public Works Director have used many different techniques over the past. They've explored all kinds of technology to maintain our roads at minimal cost. And I think we'll all agree that Ledyard has roads in very good shape. I forget we're like 79 or 81, 82%, 100% being perfect. And it's worked well for us over the years, so Finance recommends that the town continue with this program.
Very good. Any comments, questions?
This is Councilor Washington. I'm a hardcore supporter of this programming because one of the things it allows you to do is ascertain what level of repair or construction you're going to do versus a full mill to something of a minor chip seal, and the amount of money you can save in reference to what this program can do. This program is dirt cheap. Yep.
It has served us well. Any other questions?
Some of the roads just one more comment. Some of the roads that we have used this technology to recommend those techniques or surfacing components that Councilor Washington mentioned, they've lasted incredibly long for as little as was done. Far cheaper than milling and resurfacing an entire road. So, more of the same.
Very good. Roxanne, would you call the roll?
Mr. Washington?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Dombrowski?
Yes.
Mrs. Ingalls?
Yes.
Mrs. McGrattan?
Yes.
Mr. Sebelia?
Yes.
Mr. Soms?
Yes.
7 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries. Next item.
I move to grant a bid waiver to Savvy & Sons for refurbishment of the Pine Brook Cross Culvert under Nutmeg Drive in the amount of up to $20,000.
Councilor Ingalls seconds.
So this is a really interesting project. Director Maslow was at the finance meeting, and he explained exactly what's happening here. This company was used to do Ferryview Road, and if you click on the third and fourth links, either one of them, one's a video, one's a photograph, you'll see a picture of what they did, and it's pretty impressive. The photo opens, it's huge, you just get a picture of brush, but if you scroll to the right, you'll see what they actually did. It's an old culvert. It was resurfaced with a material which seals and basically makes that culvert last for a much longer period. He mentioned that it covers the head wall as well as the inside of the culvert, which extends the length of the culvert pipe as well as the head wall. The reason for the urgency on this one and the bid waiver is that the brook running through the culvert under Nutmeg Drive is right now bone dry, and not the only blessing we got by missing the storm is it's still bone dry, and they would really like to do this quickly so that they don't have to spend more money and divert stream as they did with Ferryview. Councilor Ingalls, did I miss anything, or Mayor?
No, that sums it up pretty well. It's, you know how Steve is with his money, and he figures this gives us an added 10 years of useful life on this culvert, and it's a very positive thing.
Yeah, much better than a replacement in 5 years.
Very good. Any questions, comments?
Hi, Roxanne. Can you hear me? This is John Marshall.
Hey, John, you made it.
Yeah, I've been here for a few minutes. I don't want to interrupt.
Okay.
Councilor Washington, were you trying to talk?
You're on
I'm muting
mute.
myself.
There.
Sorry. The idea of coating the pipe, as far as dollar value and return on your bang for your buck, is incredible. And the ability to do it during this time of the year, as Councilor Solms mentioned about no water in the pipe, the cost to manage the water is extremely expensive if you get storm events and things of that nature. So this is an excellent opportunity.
Very good. Anyone else? Roxanne, would you call the roll?
Mrs. Davis,
Here.
Mr. Dombrowski,
Yes.
Mrs. Ingles,
Yes.
Mr. Marshall,
Yes.
Mrs. McGrattan,
Yes.
Mr. Sebelia,
Yes.
Mr. Soms,
Yes.
Mr. Washington.
Yes.
8 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries. Our next meeting is, what date is our next meeting, Roxanne?
August 26th,
August 26th.
and we have a public hearing at 6:30.
Alrighty. Very good. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion's been made and seconded. This meeting is adjourned.